Sony has had a headlock on Spider-Man, the movie rights, for like 20 years now. So, that's why I kind of did that. I wanted to kind of show, I wanted to just talk about that real quick because it's interesting to me as a fan of movies in general, and curious to see, like, I hate it that Sony has the rights to Spider-Man, and they've been doing a really poor job of profiting, taking advantage of that. Not only like financially, but like creatively, except for, like I always say, the animated movies are awesome. Keep doing those. If anything, and I heard, I think, did I say it or someone else said it? I was listening to a podcast, and he said, diverge the live action, give that back to Marvel, let them buy that back and keep the animated stuff. And I'm like, that's a good idea. That's the best idea. I would be down for that, because I'm like, look, I know Sony makes whack-ass movies, but they make really good animated movies. And so whatever it is, whatever the sauce is on the animation side, whether it's Lord and Miller or whoever they hire, I'm like, cool, let's go. I'm not gonna disparage anything that's good just because it came out of Sony, even though they're kind of evil. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about, excuse me, we're talking about the video game side. And the whole Fire Sprite thing, where it's like a toxic work environment. I don't know if there was crunch involved or anything like that, but it's like, these things happen. And I think it happened to Naughty Dog too. I think there was a toxic or a crunch, or there was something going on when they were closing in on the end of The Last of Us 2 or something. And like, it's like, oh, that didn't happen. Everybody has amnesia. Nobody's saying nothing. I'm like, yo, man, there's some BS. Why aren't they being held to the same standard that the whole industry, mainly I'm gonna say Xbox, because they don't, they're like, no, they're like, nope, they don't want to, they're not objective. The media is not objective, and it sucks. It really does suck. And it's not even the main thing is, for me, and it always comes down to this, is that this whole bias is affecting the industry as a whole. Not just, Xbox is going down. No. It affects if you step back, you look at the bigger picture, right? And you say, okay, the trends of like the AAA game. I know I said this last video. It's like the trends of how AAA gaming are perceived by the public. Yes, they're good. But by pushing that so hard, the perception from the public, from the normies, is that this is what a AAA game is, when that is not necessarily accurate. And so there is going to be work needed to break that perception. And games like Fortnite, games like the games of service games that are popular, that's a step in the right direction, only in that they are so popular that they're way more popular than these AAA games that are supposed to be the best of the best. And the fact of the matter is, they're not, because more people are playing these other games, and more money is being made by these other games. And these companies know that these games of service games are more valuable than these other games that cost way more to create. Now, a game like Fortnite has probably cost Epic billion dollars. Let's just say $1 billion over the years that it's been out, right? As far as like, because it's constant cycle of development. It never ends. But they've probably made more than $1 billion. Now, I'm just throwing out a number, but I'm just saying it's the same thing with Game Pass, right? Game Pass, they spend $1 billion of money to acquire or to secure these games into Game Pass, whether it's like third-party games or indie games or whatever it is, right? Exclusive day one games in Game Pass, all that stuff. $1 billion roughly, and they make this is per year, $1 billion of costs for Xbox to put all these beautiful games, yummy games on Game Pass. They make $7 billion every year. So I look at that model and I'm like, yup, that's how you business right there. Not, oh, let's spend $300 million and only make $50 million at the end. I'm like, I mean, that's money, yes, but that's not enough to make another $300 million game, right? So something's wrong. The math ain't mathing, you know? And I'm thinking, I'm like, if I was in Sony's shoes and I'm looking at what Microsoft is doing, and I'm like, why aren't we doing that? They're literally showing us how to make all this money, and we're not doing. Why aren't we doing that? Dude, I can't answer that question. I mean, my thought is they still want to sell consoles. They think consoles is the main thing. And I can, on one end, I can understand that, because ultimately Sony is a hardware company. That's how they grew up. That's how they grew up. That's how they went through school, through hardware training. No, I'm just saying, that's what they are initially. Foundationally, hardware. I mean, the indication is that they had to buy Psygnosis in order for them to create an API for the original PlayStation. They couldn't even have people, they didn't have people in camp to create a software application. What does API stand for? I forgot what it stands for. Something protocol interface? I don't remember. Anyway, it's the backbone, the background, the back end. There it is. It's the back end of how you make the games, basically. It's the program to make the programs. Anyway, they didn't even have that back then. Now, do they have it? I mean, I don't know what the state is now. I mean, basically, it's still a PS4 Pro API, you know, developer kit or whatever. So, who knows? Do they have... I mean, I would say Mark Cerny is very capable hardware and software engineer, so he's definitely like a, I don't know if we call him a savant, but he's definitely super talented in what he does. So I would be like, all right, cool, you know, he can, you know, he does good work, but is he too kind of far out there as far as ease of use? I mean, basically, like I said, they just used the old API and kind of made it so that, you know, you could make it higher resolution based off the hardware. You know, this is what I'm guessing. But this is why all these games are really PlayStation 4 games, but they look better because the PlayStation 5 is more capable, basically. And this is why all the games are cross-gen, even though some of them didn't come out for PlayStation 4. They can work on PlayStation 4. You know, I mean, they did it only for I was gonna say clout, but they did it to have this facade of, oh, PlayStation 5 is important. We believe in generations and blah blah blah. Like, what was it? 2 games out of all of them that came out? I don't count VR games or the Astrobot pack-in joint. And that's another thing. They have a potential super gold mine with Astrobot, and they are literally letting it die on the vine. So many people are like, yo, make an Astrobot game. Let's go. Make a big, giant, fat, yummy Astrobot game. Here's my question. How much would an Astrobot game, like a fully fledged 15, 20-hour Astrobot game, cost versus, I don't know, Spider-Man 3, The Last of Us 2? Does that cost more than $100 million? Probably not. Make that, because everybody loves it and they're good games. Why? Look, man. I mean, it's a crazy, unconceivably not dank. I just don't understand it. I cannot understand why these simple things are not being done. And, you know, like the money they wasted on factions, there could have been an Astrobot game. Now, that's, of course, hindsight, but still, I will always posit, like, even like on the Microsoft side, like there's a, Microsoft owns the rights to Scalebound, right? I would say to Microsoft, I'd be like, yo, get a small little team, 10 people, whatever, take the remnants of Scalebound and patch it up and put it together for, like, just kind of like a simple, you know, game, like almost like a demo, or like, look, back in the day, right? You think about old arcade games, they were simple. It's a simple arcade game. You go boom, you drive, you fly, you shoot stuff. Simple, right? It wasn't all crazy. Why can't we tap back into those things? Why does it have to be, oh, we need a progression tree, we need skill points, and we need the weapons to be stronger levels, we need color, we need purple weapon, gold, legendary weapon, green and blue, all the weapons. Like, why? Why can't you take something that is literally in the trash bin? It's in the trash can, it's in the dumpster without the fire. It's like, take it out, dust it off, and be like, all right, let's fix it so that it's like a presentable little package, and put it on Game Pass. You know how many I would play? What Scalebound is? Whatever they put out, they say, all right, we put some duct tape and some crazy glue on Scalebound, Gorilla Glue, and some epoxy, some JB Weld. We put some of that on it. We fixed it up. We put a title screen on it with some dancing dragons or something. There you go. Free for our Xbox Ultimate peoples, or whatever. Xbox, free for all of y'all who and I'm like, I'm downloading it, and I'm out of morbid curiosity, I'm gonna play that. And it may be trash. It may not be that good. Or it may be like, oh, that's pretty dope. And they see the numbers like, oh man, a lot of people want to play that, right? And then what you do, first, yes, it's on Game Pass, right? Xbox, but you also put it out on PC, right? Here's the $1 billion idea. You can use this, Microsoft. I will allow it. You put it out on a PC and you allow mods. Now I know it's not the creation engine, but you make a little API, a little section where you can either you can build levels. I know level creation is one of the things that a lot of games did. I know Far Cry 2 did it. I tried my hand in that. It was a little weird, but that's only because I really didn't try. But there's plenty of games that do that. So one, you could do a level creator. Two, you could probably do a design your little dragon. Now I know I'm asking a lot, but if you allow mods, if you allow the community to mod what is there, they will come up with a game. They will come up with the whole game. And then you'd be like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then you go with them, you say, if there's a mod that's cool enough and you want to release it, like officially, you go to them, you're like, yo, here's some money. Thanks for the mod. We're going to release it. Contract, sign that, boopity bippity. And that's how you make, that's how stuff grows, organically, if you will. That's how we get kind of cool experiences. It doesn't have to be handcrafted and choreographed to the T like what Sony does, because a lot of the decisions people don't like. They're like, wow, I really don't like Abby as a character. She kind of sucks. Wow, I really don't like Ellie. She kind of sucks too. Wow, I really like Joel, even though he's a bad person. But why'd you kill him like that? All these decisions made by the creators that people don't like. They need to give more currency. They need to give more power to the consumers. More freedom, if you will. And that's where the mods come in. The mods, I think, are one of Xbox's, and mainly on the PC. But if Xbox plays their cards right, they exist on Xbox as well. That's one of the things they will always have over Sony, because Sony is not down with mods. They are so scared of litigation and getting sued. They don't want to have nothing to do with it. So that's why mods are not allowed on PlayStation in the way that they are on Xbox. Speaking of consumers, I saw a video. I saw Fertanga's video on Jimmy Neutron. I know I mentioned it last video, and I saw it was somebody. I think Chaos Lounge was going to talk about it. He's going to watch it and react to it. I didn't watch it because I didn't feel like watching Jimmy Neutron again. So I was like, But I never really spoke on it. Spoke on it. So I'm gonna do that real quick right now. So Jimmy Neutron, Reforged Gaming. He went on a rant about there's no such thing as pro-consumer or anti-consumer. And I really wanted to jump through the internet and smack that big fat forehead of his, like, slap, put a big right there. Why is he so dumb? Why is he so smart? He has intelligence, but it's misguided. He's an idiot. He's a fool. He's a buffoon. It's frustrating when smart people are so dumb. I'm listening to him. I'm like, I know he's rambling. I do the same thing. But I mean, if you watch Always Alex's video, he shows the hypocrisy because he's all over the place. But let me explain to everyone. Let me explain to you, Jimmy Neutron. There is such thing as anti-consumerism, and there is such thing as pro-consumerism. Why do you think those freaking words exist? They exist. The concepts exist because they exist. Now, an example of pro-consumerism or something being pro-consumer. I'll make up a fictitious example because, you can say about anything. So let's say I go to the car dealership and I'm like, yo, my car's acting up. Can you take a look at it? Can you go fix it or whatever? And then the dude says, yeah, sure. And on the wall behind him, there's a sign that says $175 per hour. That's our rate of labor. That's our labor rate. I think it's a little higher than that, but I'll just say 175, right? And he doesn't say anything. And you just look at it. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. You expect to pay at least 175 for them to look at it, The hour consists of the first minute. Even if it takes 5 minutes, you still get charged an hour. Anyway, so mechanic dude, they do whatever they do. They come back and they say, hey, okay, we really can't fix what's wrong with your car because it's more of a manufacturing thing. We don't have the proper programs or codes. Basically, only the dealers have these, and we can't really get them, and we can't really reprogram the computer, let's just say. And so you're like, oh man, that sucks. I wanted to give you guys the money. And so they say, oh, it's okay, and they throw the keys to you, like clink. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, do I have to pay? It's like, no, don't worry about it. It didn't take, it took like 5 minutes, and but the sign behind you, nah, you're cool. We seen you here before. You're a good customer and stuff. We'll check you on the next time. We'll see you again. Just have a good day, sir. And you're like, shoot, that was very nice of them. That was very pro-consumer. Now, anti-consumer. I don't know. Let's just say same scenario. I mean, I can go and list a bunch of things that Sony did, but let's just say same scenario. You're there, they go in 5 minutes, they look at you, and you're like, yeah, we can't really fix it, but we still got to charge you for the labor and stuff. And like, really, you only looked at it for 5 minutes? I know, but the boss and the contracts and the labor union, they give you some spiel that really doesn't, it's like whatever. And you reluctantly signed over your credit card to them, $175 plus tax, $200 or so. Yeah, that's fine. At least I know now what's wrong with it. Thanks, guys, and you leave. That's capitalism. But also, when you take the two and you weigh them against each other, one is pro, one is less than pro. Some would say anti, depending on the mood. Some would say, whatever. So there is a spectrum, yes, of course. And then you have like really anti-consumerism, which is what Sony does a lot of the time. Raising the prices of your product after the fact, when historically the prices have gone down. I'm talking about the consoles mainly. And not prices of games. Games have been going up, but the console themselves have always gone down, never went up. Sony started that anti-consumerism. Also, anti-consumer is really anti-dev, which makes it anti-industry, which is even worse than anti-consumerism, is them charging for crossplay. I'm sorry I say it like every video, but that really upsets me because I'm like, yo, y'all are so blatantly greedy and just not nice. It's like, why would I want to do business with a company like you? I'm looking at your numbers. Y'all are sucking. Y'all don't know what you're doing. The only thing you have is the number of consoles, but nobody's buying games for your console. So why would I believe, like say the game that we're making, like, oh yeah, it's an indie game. Y'all don't promote indie games. Why would we put it on the PlayStation when it's gonna get buried and nobody's gonna buy it? So I'm like, I gotta talk to the guys and the team and like, listen, I know PlayStation is popular and blah blah blah, but they don't treat indies right. I mean, it's like what happened with Unity. They don't treat indies right. So we're going to get into that same kind of, it's not exactly the same situation, but it feels similar, where the giant corporation, Unity, PlayStation, doesn't care about the devs. They just care about making that money. And that's what happened in Unity with John Riccitiello. That's what happened to Sony, and is what's happening to Sony. Only, I would say, because they're in the predicament that they're in, because they're bleeding money. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm ranting and raving. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Fire Sprite situation, toxic environment. Nobody's saying nothing, of course. Par for the course. And the other things, as far as what I said, my mind is clouded. I'm trying to concentrate on not crashing. Sorry. This is the dangerous part. This is near the airport, so a lot of construction. Anyway, I appreciate y'all like and subscribe. We are almost. Oh no, actually, you know what? We passed the 3,000 hour mark. I most definitely appreciate. We still got to get to 4,000 and 1,000 subs, but you know what? I am satisfied with this milestone. It doesn't really change anything for me as far as, like, you know, getting paid or anything, because it's like it doesn't happen until that next milestone. It's like, well, whatever, you know. And like I said, I'm not really doing this for the money, obviously, because if I was, I'd be flipping and flopping like all these idiots, or I'd be trying harder on Twitter or something, whatever. But, you know, like I said, I do it because I love video games. I love the industry. It has opened a window into my mind. When I was a little kid, I told you the story, and I think what video games do for me, and many people too, is it keeps that connection to your childhood, that feeling, that wonderful feeling of, like, wonderment, like, wow, I can't believe this is possible. I can't believe what's happening in front of me. I can't believe what I'm seeing, you know? And that type of wonderment, I had a bit of it when I was in Chicago. I saw the snow, because I hadn't seen the snow in freaking 20, 30 years. And I saw the snow, I was like, I mean, I remember what snow looks like, and it's cold and stuff or whatever, but it was just like a little punch in the face, nostalgia punch, like, psh. I was like, you know what? I appreciate the snow, you know? And I appreciate video games. All of them aren't perfect and good and cool, and some things about the industry suck, but at the same time, I still remember that feeling when I first fell in love. And that I will always hold with me. And that's why it's so important to me that video games don't get messed up by stupid corporations doing stupid things. And I do realize that video games is so big that probably won't ever happen, but any damage in the way that kind of Sony has been carrying themselves this generation, and the past generation too, you know, it's troubling, because they are the market leader, so says some people, which they're not really, but the perception is that they are, and their behavior is damaging, you know. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going too long. I appreciate y'all like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you feel the same way as far as video games go, and the importance of keeping the industry healthy and not damaging any part of it. You know, trying to being competitive, but also being fair, and also realizing and understanding and being aware that the health of the industry is more important than you winning. Because if you win and the industry is destroyed, you lose. You get nothing. Good day, sir. It's over. If you're like, yeah, we sold the most, video game industry crashed, what do you get? You get nada. You get nothing. So that's the main thing that I always carry around with this whole video game stuff. But I promise I'll talk more about actual video games and stuff instead of general video games. But once again, rambles. I appreciate. I'll talk to you on the next one. Took the wait.